Hey, what's up YouTube? This is 24K signing in. I want to talk about my first impressions of the Big Brother 16 house guests. I just watched all their interview videos and I want to let you know what I think of them. Alright, so the first person I saw was Donnie. He seems like a really nice guy. He has a really long beard. He looks like a guy from Duck Dynasty. And I hope he makes it far in the game. He seems likable. And I don't But the problem is, I don't see him making it too far in the game for two reasons. One, he says he has a hard time lying, and that's crucial in this game if you want to make it far, because there's going to be situations in the game where you have to lie. And if you have a hard time lying, people are going to pick up on that. Also, he's the oldest person in the house, and people may possibly gain up on him early on in the game because that's to save play. The average age is about mid to late 20s, maybe about 30. I'd say mid 20s to about 30. So I like him. I hope he makes it far, but I can see him getting out early on. Next person, Victoria. Well, I don't really like her too much already. She seems stuck up, and I could see her getting in fights with other women in the house. So I don't see her going very far. Jocasta. Now, I like her. She seems very nice. She seems to have a good personality. She says that she's competitive. But she's also a minister, which I respect. But she may have a hard time lying because since she's religious, and generally speaking, the more religious someone is, the harder time they're going to have at lying. Not to say that she can't pull it off. She can very well pull it off, but I think most likely she's going to have a hard time lying. She's going to have a hard time separating her ethics and gameplay, in her gameplay. We saw last year with Howard. He was big into the church, which I respect 100%, but that led to his downfall because he had a hard time lying, and I liked him a lot. So I think I'm going to like her a lot too, but I could see her getting out early on, most likely. I hope not. I hope I'm wrong. Next person, Devin. He's a former baseball player. He seems really nice, and it seems like a lot of people could potentially gravitate towards him because it seems like he's really nice, like I said. But the problem is, he also seems like he can be a very big target because he's a big physical threat, and there's no hiding that. It will be interesting to see if he reveals to the other house guests that he's a former professional baseball player, because if he does, then some of the house guests may target him because they may think he has a lot of money. And so it will be interesting to see if he reveals that, and if he does, it will be interesting to see how the other house guests react to that. Now we have a woman by the name of Paola. She's a DJ, and she's funny. She has a big personality, and I like her, but I don't see her going very far in the game. She wants to form an all-girls alliance, and we know that those don't work. Plus, she's bad at memory games, so most likely she's not going to be winning the mental competitions. You never know for sure, but most likely she's not. And I don't know. I don't think she's going to go very far in the game, even though she's likable and very nice. And I'd like to see her make it far in the game. Next, we have Cody. He says he played soccer in college, and so we know that he's athletic. We know that he could possibly win some HOHs, physical competitions, as long as they're physical competitions. And he says he wants to team up with another person in the house. He seems very likable, and he also says that he wants to win the first HOH. So that means he's most likely not going to be throwing competitions. So that would be nice. Nice to see someone playing the game. I like him. I hope he makes it far. I think he will make it far. But one thing that could potentially lead to his downfall is he's too competitive, and people may see him as too big as a physical threat, and also he could potentially lose his cool. I could see him fighting with another guy in the house, possibly. Now, we have next guy, Zach, and I already don't like him very much. He seems to be very cocky, has a big ego, and I could see him snapping at people. I could see Zach and Cody probably getting in a fight. It's possible. He says he's definitely in it for the money, so he may be very entertaining to watch. He says he has no downfalls, and in my opinion, that's a bad mentality to have because I don't care who you are, everyone has downfalls. So I really don't like him already, and I don't see him making it far in the game. He reminds me of Jeremy from last year, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. He might make some pretty good TV. Caleb. Next, we have Caleb. He's an adventure hunting guy. He's very athletic, so I can see him winning some physical competitions. But also, he may be perceived as a big physical threat, so that could possibly put a target on his back. And he's possibly big into the church because his brother owns a church, and he said that he will help his brother with his church if he wins the money. So what that means is that there's a possibility that he may have trouble lying, and that could potentially lead to his downfall. But I like him. He seems like a really nice guy. I hope he makes it far in the game. But I don't think he's going to win it. I don't think he's going to make it to the end. Next we have Brittany. She's an event coordinator. And she has 3 kids. And her downfall is missing her family. And she's a recent fan of the game. And so she doesn't know the game very well. And that's going to be a big disadvantage against her. I don't see her making it far in the game. She's going to be missing her family. And I could see her getting out early on in the game. She says her big strength is reading people, which is a good strength to have, but still, I don't think she's going to make it too far in the game. Next we have Hayden. He seems very nice. He's a goofy, funny dude. He seems very likable and friendly. I really like him a lot. He's a former college hockey player, so he's physical. He could potentially win some of those physical competitions. I think one of his downfalls is this, possibly. He says he's open for a showmance, so that's going to be interesting to watch if anything develops. But that could lead to his downfall because we all know that showmances put a huge target on your back. I could see him making it to the midway point or maybe a little bit farther than the midway point, but I don't see him winning the game even though I like him already and I'll be rooting for him. And keep in mind, my opinions of these people will change as the season progresses. This is just first impressions. I could be completely wrong or off base with some of these people. Next person, Derek. He's a police officer. I like him. He seems like a really nice guy. But he says that he's going to not tell his fellow host guests that he's a police officer. And I think that's a smart move because some of the people in the house may not like police officers. And if they don't, and he tells them, he's going to be targeted because of his profession. There's a very good chance. He played baseball in college, so he's physically active, and also to be a police officer, you have to be in good shape. So I can see him winning some physical competitions. He might get along well with Devin and bond with him, possibly, if Devin reveals that he was a professional baseball player. So that will be interesting to see how that plays out. He also says he wants to play a clean game. Now, it's impossible to play 100% clean game, but I can see him playing a clean game as possible, and I can see him being able to pull off lying when he has to. And also, one of his biggest strengths is, since he's a police officer, he can adapt his surroundings and exploit people's weaknesses. So I can see him getting far in the game, and I could be way off here, but I'm picking him to win it all. Now watch him get out within the first couple weeks, because I said that, but I'll be rooting for him. Next we have Amber. She seems very nice, but she said that she's too nice and that could lead to her downfall. Plus, she's a bad liar, but she's also very competitive. But also, she wants to form a girl alliance. And like I said earlier, all girl alliances don't work. All guys alliances don't work. It might work to a certain degree for a couple weeks, but overall, it is not going to work. So I don't think she's going to win the game, even though I do like her. I'll be rooting for her to making it far in the game, but I don't think she's going to win it all. Next we have Joey. She's a makeup artist. She says she gets along with women, which is a big plus because usually, not all, but some of the women fight on the show, and that leads to their downfalls. She's funny, but it didn't seem like she had much of a strategy. She didn't say how she got along with guys, and she also said she had no downfalls. And the thing is that everyone has a downfall. I don't care who you are, and that's a bad mentality to have. Maybe she just didn't want to reveal what her downfall was. Maybe the people saying that they don't have downfalls didn't want to reveal what their downfalls were. Who knows? But still, I don't see her making it too far in the game. Maybe midway point or a little before the midway point at most. But we'll see what happens. I do like her though. Christine, I like her as well. She says she's a super fan, so that's a big plus in my book. And I could see her making it really far into the game because she's really knowledgeable, she's very competitive, and I could see her really strategizing, and she has a good social game. But what could lead to her downfall is being too nice. That's what she said. But I could see her possibly making it to the Final Four. I'll be rooting for her. I always like super fans. Nicole, another huge fan, which is a plus, but she says that she doesn't get along with girls very well, or girls don't get along with her very well for whatever reason. So that could possibly lead to her downfall. I could see her possibly forming an alliance with some of the guys. I'll be rooting for her to make it far into the game, but I don't see her winning it at all. Now, the last person is Frankie. Seems like a nice guy, but here's the thing. He is already semi-famous, and he has a very famous sister, Ariana Grande. So what does this mean? If America has an influence over the game, America is going to most likely help him stay in the game longer. And that's not fair. I mean, I'm all for twists, but I don't like it when they have someone in the game that already has a big following. And you know that his sister's supporters are going to support him as well. So that's just not fair. I don't see him winning the game, but I see him making it far into the game because America is going to help him make it far into the game. And whatever. It would be interesting to see if the other house guests pick up on who he is. He says he's not going to tell the house guests who he is, like who his sister is and stuff like that. And that's a smart play on his part. But I think eventually people are going to pick up on it, and it will be interesting to see how he handles that situation and how the house guests react. I think most of the house guests, I think some of the house guests may be cool with it, but I think most of the house guests are going to target him for that reason because they're going to think he has a lot of money. So let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Who do you think is going to win it all? Who do you think is going to make it very far in the game? Who do you think is going to get out early on? Feel free to leave your comments in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. I'm going to be making videos throughout the season, usually after evictions on eviction nights, to let you know what I thought in my predictions and review what I thought happened. So thanks for watching. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, AlexGold14. Feel free to subscribe to me. I hope you enjoyed it.